Just give me a second, guys. Let me just make sure the stream is running correctly. So just give me a moment and then we'll get started. All right, looks like everything's working. Okay, so what's up? So in today's video, I have been basically hired to create a competitive Final Fantasy commander deck. So what you'll see here in the Discord is an individual named Candy who's asked me to create a commander deck only using Final Fantasy set cards, and this individual has given me the freedom to do whatever I want really with the deck, but just to make it as competitive as possible so the deck is as strong as possible so they can have fun and play games with a deck that's specifically Final Fantasy only. So if I click on this over here and I head over to Chrome, you'll be able to see over here, this is where the deck list is going to exist when this video is finished. This is my Patreon. So this Patreon exists specifically because the people in my community have asked me to start this and to do live streams to build decks for people. So in the future, going forward, all the deck lists on the channel are going to appear here on the Patreon. And it's totally free to join so that you can take a look at all the deck lists. And if you want for me to provide a service for you, you can via the membership options. The link to the Patreon will be in the description below. So we're building a deck only using Final Fantasy cards. Now, to my awareness, first of all, I'm cooking food for my dog right now, so I may have to go check on the food in 5 minutes. We're building a Final Fantasy only commander deck, which, you know, is a really interesting deck building restriction, mostly because it's one thing to build a commander deck that's just the deck. It's a whole other thing to build a competitive commander deck, which was the request specifically. And to me, it depends on what you define as being a competitive deck. So when I think about a competitive commander deck, and you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong in the comments, but a competitive commander deck to me is a deck that allows you to play in a way where you constantly can respond to what other people are doing in the game. A competitive deck is a deck that that gives you some sort of control over what's going on. And, you know, to keep it as simple as possible, you're doing more than your opponents generally do, whether that means you're playing more, getting more, and then stopping your opponents from playing. To me, that's what competitive means. So I automatically think of one card that when we're thinking about building this commander deck, that to me, it's just, we're just gonna have to build around, and I think it's gonna be Kefka. I think Kefka has to be the commander of this deck. Kefka reads, when Kefka enters or attacks, each player is going to discard a card, which is going to obviously reduce your opponent's chances of being able to play cards. And then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way, which is a huge swing of an advantage. I mean, when we're talking about playing competitively, that's pretty devastating, you know, being able to do something like that. So, and then when he transforms, it says whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards, which is just, you know, that type of advantage over your opponents. You keep drawing into the right kinds of cards. It'll always put you in a position where you're gonna stomp people. So the question is how do we take Kefka and build something that is competitive? So allow me 1 second. to go ahead and swap. Let me log into Moxfield really quickly under my account so that I can get started with this. So just give me a second. Like I said, remember that the Final Fantasy only competitive deck. My commander is Kefka. Change commander, Kefka, Court Mage, save, and Kefka's right there. Okay, so I should be able to go back over here, back into Google. For whatever reason, it's not showing, so we'll go back into Discord. I don't know why, but we make this work. So this, oh, 1 second. Let me just open up a new tab. Google, click on Google. This should make it work. There we go. Okay. For whatever reason, it only appears when I'm on the Google homepage. So look. So I have 1 minute, so I got to go check on my dog's food. So this is the first card. So I think that everything that we do is going to revolve around this commander. So Candy, this is the commander you're going to need to get. How about we go ahead and switch the printing so it looks really cool. Yeah, I like that one. That's pretty sick. All right, let me go turn off the stove. I'll be right back, guys. We don't need the food burning. Okay. All right, so let's go like this. We're back. Okay. So when we look at the cards that we have available to us, we're gonna go Final Fantasy a set list. So I should be able to click on this and it should give me every single Final Fantasy card available. Now, are there filters? So we can filter this. So our commander is blue, black, red, and we're gonna multicolor that. So that's what it's gonna be. So what we're looking for right now, I think, is cards that have enter the battlefield effects. Our commander specifically says when he enters or attacks, each player discards a card. So to me, what we're gonna be doing a lot is having creatures enter and getting abilities off that way. So how about before we do anything, we look at the cards that are specifically, I think we got to look at the cards that are specifically non-creature spells, and I need to look at blue first, because blue will have the cards that say like exile target creature, that creature leaves the battlefield, then it'll re-enter the battlefield. So let's take a look and see what we got over here. Let's make this just a bit bigger so it's easier for me to see. So equip creature, target player draws 2 cards, surveil 1, draws a card for each artifact you control. No. Copy, no. When Jill enters, return up to one other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Yeah. So we're gonna add Jill to the deck. 3 mana creature that we can use to bounce something back to our opponent's hand. Sure. Lumioses. I'm sure we're gonna have tons of creatures that will how do you say that are legendary that we can sacrifice. So we're gonna go ahead and play this Luis. I'm not even gonna try to say that word, bro. Louis. Yeah, that's sacrifice. Memories returning. The merchant. Keistis. Nah. Realm sketching, nah. Is there anything that lets us bounce things for a cheap amount of mana? That's the question. When it enters, tap all creatures of your opponent's control. Yeah, why not? Oops. Demetia. Temporal threat. Yeah, that's that. Okay. Cast a non-creature spell. If at least 4 mana, tap target creature opponent controls. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 8 mana. Oh my god. If at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, that's a pretty interesting restriction. I just don't think a 2 mana 2/1. I feel like we draw into that. That's gonna be pretty beat. Just at the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Then at the first end step of the turn, there's additional. Oh yeah, yeah, we're definitely playing that. Y'shtola. How do you spell that? Y SH T. Yeah. Well, that kind of stinks because that looks like there's only one card in the entire deck that it really looks like that's the only card inside the entire deck that's gonna bounce things back to our opponent's hand. So maybe, you know, we got one card that did what I was looking for. It's fine, you know, make it work. So we're going black. I feel like I need to look at the non-creature spells, because if this is going to be competitive, can I do this to non-creature spells? Whatever, keep it like this. But to be fair, in blue, like, I didn't really see anything at all that to me looked like, other than this card right here, this counter spell I thought was nice. Maybe we'll find some nice spells inside the precon, because technically I can go here to Google. I think Y'shtola precon, deck list. Where is it? MTG Goldfish, I trust. Let's Go ahead and zoom this in a bit, nice and organized. So spells can't play. Sanguinate. I don't know if you want to play that. Lingering Souls, Transpose, Vindicate, Void Rend, Lethal Scheme, Snuff Out, Siphon Mind. Yeah, we can play Siphon Mind. If I can spell it correctly. Oh, they spell Siphon differently. I don't know if you guys ever played Siphon Filter. That was a game on PlayStation 1 that I used to play a long time ago. I don't know why that made me... This card is making me think about Siphon Filter. So Siphon Mind. Okay. Crux of Fate, Final Judgment, Sublime Epiphany. You know, there is just so many cards that just cost so much mana. You know, you'd think that you'd find cards over here that just wouldn't cost so much mana. Propaganda, no. What is that? No. Oh, I mean, like, technically, if there's Soul Ring, we can add Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. We can definitely add Talisman of Dominance, Thought Vessel. So yeah, let's go Thought Vessel. Thought Vessel, Soul Ring. What was the other one? Arcane Signet. Our commander costs how much? 5 mana. So we really want to make sure we have a lot of cards inside this deck that cost 4 mana if we're going to be playing 2 mana rocks a lot. I said Oak and Talisman of Dominance. I think that's what I said. Yeah. Talisman of Hierarchy. No, we can't play that. And then we got all the lands. We'll grab the lands later. Let's see if we can find some nice creatures over here. Baleful Strix enters, draw a card. I mean, yeah, I like that. I mean, turn 2 play. Let's just go ahead and switch the printing to Final Fantasy. What else do we have over here? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, that's white and black, white and blue, white. Murderous Rider. Whenever you cast your second spell, each turn draw a card. I don't know. Whenever Archmage Emeritus. I don't know how many spells we're really gonna have to cast from my graveyard, really. There's too many Orzhov cards inside this deck. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying and vigilance. Nah. What is that? Can't be blocked. Torrential Gear Hulk. You know, for me wanting to make this a non-creature kind of spell deck, it's becoming quite difficult because I can't really find great cards that are non-creatures. We have one counter spell. I don't, inside this precon, is there another counter? The only counter spell in this precon is a 6 mana Sublime Epiphany. I'm not gonna play that. 5 mana Deadly Embrace. Dark Confidant. Yeah, we're gonna play that. Excellent. Okay, Dark Confidant will play. Darkness Greatsword, nah. Jacked, no. Enters 4 mana. That's pretty whack. Kane, no. Trader, no. Overkill. I mean, it's a card. I'm gonna throw this in there. Not the worst thing. Just want to thank everybody for being here. I see you guys. Phantom Train. I want to play Sephiroth, but I feel like Sephiroth doesn't really work with what I'm trying to do. Because I don't even think I'm gonna have a lot of creatures that I want to sacrifice. So while Sephiroth is cool, I just don't know if he's gonna work. Sephiroth's Intervention, 4 mana. That's so much mana. Five mana. Odin. Vincent. No. Clive. Clive is a good card, but 6 mana. Haste Magic? No. Do we play the mana fixing with these cards? We can cycle. We could cycle this. Laughing Mad. We play that. For sure. Lightning deals combat damage to a player. No. Nibelheim of Flame. Choose target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. If the spell was cast from a graveyard to each other creature. I mean, I wish I said your opponent's control. I mean, that's a 4 mana board wipe. How much power does Kefka have? 4? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have too much power on the board for that card to really be that good. Opera Love Song. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play this card until your next end step. Yeah. If at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, that's like a thing. People keep talking about the 4 mana spent to cast it a lot. Shuffle your library, then mill 4 cards, but each creature card builds way onto the battlefield. I don't know. Cypher, no. Self-destruct, no. You know what I'm noticing? I think that a lot of the best cards are going to be multicolored. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Could add the Fire Crystal, but like I just don't like that 2 mana or that 2 red in the mana value spot. There's no green. Let's just go all the way down to multicolored. Okay. Now I think we're gonna end up adding a lot of cards here now. So white, blue, no, we don't have. Okay, so blue, black. Emmett Selch, Unsundered. When enters or attacks, draw a card. Then discard a card. Your upkeep, there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard. You may transform. During your turn, put cards in your graveyard. I mean, it's a 3 mana 2/4 with vigilance that puts us through our deck, that allows us to go through the cards in our deck with upside that lets us play cards when we have 14 or more cards in our graveyard. I mean, technically, I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I see it that it's gonna help, but at the same time, we'll play it. Emmett Selch. I think that's that one. Yeah. Okay. Whenever an artifact you control enters, surveil 1. Good on that. Lock, cold, death touch, lifelink. Whenever lock, cold deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. Oh, I'm noticing that a lot. And there are other cards earlier that helped us to discard cards, so maybe we go back to those cards from earlier. I mean, death touch, lifelinking creature. I think we just hold off on that. Sephiroth is too much mana. Ultimecia Time Sorceress enters her attack, surveil 2, so more cards in our graveyard. You know what? If this card right here said, like, I mean, do we want to be discarding cards? Like, is that really going to be beneficial? I mean, if we had some kind of reanimator spell, I don't even think I saw a single card that helped us to reanimate. And while Ultimecia's good, we got to surveil 2, and then the upside on this card is insane. When this creature transforms, take an extra turn after this one. I don't know. If we're talking about being competitive, I don't think you play that. Black Waltz number 3, yes, that one. Yes, you play that card. Garland, Knight of Cornelia. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Put it on the bottom. When chaos dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. Why would you want to do that? I mean, 2 mana 3/2 that lets you surveil 1 when you cast non-creature spells. I think that card's kind of whack. If I drew that late game, I'd be like Kuja, Genome, Sorcerer. Yeah, I already know. I've lost against Kuja, so we're definitely gonna play Kuja. There's 70 versions of that card for some reason. We can't play those colors, can't play those colors, can't play those colors. I think we're definitely adding Vivi into the deck. Add X mana any combination of where X is Vivi's power. Wait a minute. Add X mana any combination of red and or blue and or red where X is Vivi's power. Whenever. Oh, so it just helps you fix your mana, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi. Yeah, it just deals damage. It's good. Shan. That's like the most Puerto Rican sounding name I've ever seen in my life. That's like a nickname you use to make fun of people with. Shantoto. What is that, dude? Do people say that in the game? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Shantoto gets +X+0 to the end of turn. X is the amount of mana spent to cast a spell. If X is 4 or more, draw a card. So Shantoto costs 3 mana. Helps us to draw if it's mana value 4 or greater. I think I'm gonna have to. It is a 0/4. Does help us draw cards. I don't know. I think I'm gonna hold off on that for now. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 hero token. Yeah, we're gonna add that card. Hello. The Great Sage. I mean, it is 5 mana, but whatever. Emperor of, yeah, that gives us mana, so we're adding that. Emperor of Pal. Did I spell Emperor wrong? There it is. So looking at this, we have 11 creatures. My gut is saying if we're playing it the way we want to play this with non-creatures, we're gonna need like 20 to 25 creatures. So that's something we got to keep in mind. White and red we don't play. And then now we have the 3 colors. So Kefka we already have. And now the artifacts. In other words, the non-creatures. Blitzball, no. Buster Sword. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then may cast a spell from your hand, valuable less. I mean, yeah, I feel like Buster Sword is just such a good card that I don't know why you would not want to play that. That's just an amazing card. I mean, I don't know what you can really say. I know the Genji Glove I like. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap it. After this phase is additional combat. So basically with Kefka, this is gonna give you that's gonna give you discard twice and then draw twice. Technically with Kefka, which is, yeah, it's good. Lionheart, no. Magitech Scythe, no. Ring of the Lucy, pay 1 life, tap, target non-land permanent for 2 mana. I mean, at 4 mana, would you want to be playing a mana rock that generates 2 mana? I mean, we do have, let me look at the mana value thing. So we have 6, we have 2 cards that are there, 3 that are here. So I don't really want to go higher than 6 mana inside this deck. So if we did have the opportunity to play this on turn 4, the turn after that, we technically would be able to play every single card inside of our deck, as long as we had the correct amount of mana. Oh, but look at this thing. I don't know. We could add Bahamut. Destroy it to 1 target and land permanent twice. The creature's energy equal to the mana of the permanents you control to each opponent. That's a devastating card, man. But competitively, I just don't like these cards. You know, if we're sticking to the theme of what we're trying to do here. And then we're getting to the lands, which we're gonna do later on. So how many cards do we have in the deck right now? 23 cards. So we need 64 cards. And then what we're gonna do is see if I can find, if I go, look, let's go Final Fantasy Commander decks. Should be able to find all of them over here. Maybe there's gonna be single cards over here that work well. Reanimate? Yeah. Yep. We can play Reanimate. That sounds good. Knight's Whisper. I mean, I kind of like that. Yeah. All right, we're getting somewhere now. Stitch Together, Bedevil, destroy target. I don't know. For 3 mana, I would like to see if we can find something that doesn't cost that much mana. Big Score, I think we play. Espers to Magicite. Nah. Snort. Nah. If that was an instant, maybe I'd play it, but that's not an instant. Nah, that's too much mana. Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, we're playing. So just so everybody knows, when we're done building the deck, we're gonna play test the deck over here on Moxfield just to see how it works. And then we're gonna add the Mind Stone and Swiftfoot Boots. And then just so that we can assure ourselves that it's going to work. Talisman of Indulgence. Commander Sphere, no. The Falcon, no. All right, let's move on. We already have Lightning Greaves over here, so we're gonna add Lightning Greaves. So maybe we do go back to play that one Octopus at 2 mana. I feel like that wouldn't be that bad. Trailblazers, Boots, I don't care so much about. Mask Memory, don't need. Hero's Blade, no. Champion Talent, Drexel Plate, no. Furious Rise, no. I mean, nah. Dispatch, we can't play. Vandal Blast? Yeah. Chaos Warp. Secret Rendezvous, Decimate, no. We do have Colossus Hammer. We already added Skull Clamp? No, not in this deck, unfortunately. Soul Ring, no. Let's look at the creatures. Avalanche, no. Professional Facebreaker is cool, but not a deck I want to, not a card I want to play in this deck. No. Yuffie Enters, no. Hellkite Tyrant. Wow, that is a cool card. We can hold off. Let me go back up to see the creatures over here because I don't think I looked at these. Stitcher Supplier. We did have the ability to do things like to mail things earlier. We had cards that wanted or surveil, things that cared about stuff like that. But like, I don't know. You can hold off on that for now. Whenever Gao attacks, put a ++ counter on it. If a card left your graveyard this turn. No, it's very specific. Milkin, no. Priest of Fell Rights. Lock, Treasure Hunter. Lock can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Whenever attacks, each player mills a card. I mean, this could be annoying. Each player mills a card, so it's kind of like removal in a way. You can't be blocked, but then again, I don't know how well that synergizes with everything else that we're doing. Morbid Opportunist, no. When Setzer, Wandering Gambler enters, create a vehicle. Nah, we're good on that. Shadow, combat damage to a player may sacrifice. No, we're not sacrificing anything. Anger. Technically, we're gonna be discarding a lot of cards, so Anger wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give everything we have haste, but it just feels like, do we care about that? At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have Gogo become a copy of the target creature you control, except its name is Gogo, Mysterious Mime. If you do, now question. I want to add this. At the beginning of combat, can I turn Gogo into a copy of Kefka? Because if I'm going to add this to the deck right now, let me know. If Gogo becomes a copy of Kefka, I feel like that'd be pretty good. Which one is it? Gogo Mysterious Mime. Because if we can have this become a copy of Kefka and then attack, that means we get multiple discard triggers, which feels great. Where are the cards? So Gogo was the last one we looked at. Interceptor, Shadow's Hound. Assassins you control have mana. Mill 3 cards, no. Pitiless Plunder, that would be good, but I just don't think it's good in this deck. Solemn Simulacrum replay. Let's go ahead and change the art to Final Fantasy. So Solemn was the last one we looked at. Archfiend of Depravity. At the beginning of each end step, that player chooses it now. Sabin, no. Combustible Gearhulk, no. Flare of the Hatebound, no. Ruin Grinder, no. No. Kefka Dancing Mad. During your turn, Kefka has Indestructible. At the beginning of your end step, exile a card at random from each opponent's library. This combos well with the one card that gives you 2 end steps. You may cast any number of spells from one card to exile the player without paying the mana cost. Then each player who owns a spell casts a sway, loses life equal to its mana value. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that it's 7 mana. But I feel like at the end of the game, oh, we're definitely adding that. Yeah, I feel like at the end of the game, it's a good way to close the game out. So we're gonna add Kefka, Dancing Mad, 7 mana, but whatever. That makes me think that we have to add that 4 mana artifact. And then there's a Pulchral Primordial that we're gonna play. It has Final Fantasy art. Yeah, let me go back to that 4 mana artifact that we saw earlier and add it. Ring of the Lucy, okay. Just makes it easier for us to cast a big spell. Stitch Together. Bedevil, Crackling Doom. Alright, so let's look at what we have so far. 38 cards in the deck. We're going to add 64 because we're going to play 36 lands. We have 15 creatures, 4 sorceries, 6 instants, and 12 artifacts. So we have 22 non-creature and 15 creatures. I think I need to just focus on the creature count right now. So if I look at this, what if there's a way? Oh yeah, I forgot about this precon. But yeah, the blue cards. No. Riku, no. Chasm Skulker. No. Valifor, no. Let's look at the spells. An Offer You Can't Refuse. We're playing that. Offer You Can't Refuse. Let me just make sure this is in the correct printing. Pull from Tomorrow. I mean, technically, I want to play that. Let's just discard a card. Just go ahead and switch this over to Final Fantasy. No cards over there that we can add. Everflowing Chalice, I think we play just because it's just another mana rock. Flowing Chalice. Sphere Grid, Fight Rigging. Okay, so I know that if I go Google and then I type in how would I find Final Fantasy reprints? Maybe that's what let me go to set. We're gonna separate this by color. So Hero of Light, no, these are blue. Okay, so Brainstorm we're gonna add. Just make sure Endwalker. Yeah. Okay, that's correct. Counterspell, Wild Rose Rebellion. Wild Rose Rebellion. Okay, counter target spell, excellent. Cryptic, oh dude, there's a lot of good cards here. Oh my god. Cryptic Command, yeah. Well, 3 blue. Yeah, we're just gonna have to make sure that we really fix our mana. But that's just a GG card. I feel like Cryptic Command is such a good card. That card has won me when I play Cryptic Command, more often than not, that card wins me games. Let me see if I can just bring this down a little bit so it's easier for me to see the cards. Yeah, Cryptic Command, and then Stay With Me. Which is going to be Heuristic Study. No. Urza, Lord High, no. Venser, Shaper, Savant. Perfect. Oh my god, this deck is actually becoming disgusting. Master what? Master V? What was it again? Master X. Sandal. Darkness of Eternity. I kind of like this. And I kind of like Gix, the Shadow Lord. And then we have Darkness of Eternity. Yawgmoth. Nah, we don't have enough counters for that to be relevant. Arden. I don't know how to say that. Izunia. Target player searches the library for that card. I mean, a 3-mana creature that lets us tutor when it attacks. Why not? If this is going to be competitive for 3 mana. Captain Lannery Storm, no. Ancient Copper Dragon. Yeah, that's disgusting. Light Up the Stage. If that was an instant, I would definitely play it. Ragavan Zidane. Early game, I feel like Zidane is really good. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of circumstantial. Inala, Archmage Ritualist. Oh my god, they made that card? That wouldn't be a bad card to have. 6 plays turn, draw a card, Flying Haste, Timna the Weaver, no. Vile Smasher, no. Yuriko, no. Dovin's Veto, we can't play. Smuggler's Copter, Chromatic Lantern. I feel like Chromatic Lantern is not super competitive, but at least it's just more mana ramp. All right, we're getting close to the end of the deck. Damn, we could have played Atraxa. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm just looking through this again just to make sure I have everything that I think is good. Godo says when Gilgamesh enters the battlefield, when it attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai. You know, that's the problem, is that card specifically only untaps Godo instead of untapping all the creatures. So it's not that good. Diabolic Intent. Yeah, we can sack a creature and search the library for a card. Shantoto. And then Fencer's great. Bolus' Citadel we could add. I mean, we got that Chromatic Lantern, so why not at this point? Let me just make sure that that's the correct one, because I know there's a million different versions of this card. Storm. No, we can't play that. We can't play this. Okay. So we definitely just added a lot of really powerful cards from that. That wasn't that bad. Now, I think that there are Secret Lair, Final Fantasy Secret Lair cards. Is this it? I mean, let's see what we got over here. Gilded Lotus. Is that Final Fantasy? Yeah. Sure. Great, I love Gilded Lotus. Let's make sure this is the Secret Lair. It's only $70 for that card. Spear's Punishment, no. And Toxic Deluge, Merciless Poisoning, excellent. Praetor's Grasp, nah. Prismatic, no. Cyclonic Rift. Oh my god, guys, this is getting disgusting now. I'm gonna have to add a ton of creatures. What does that say? Damn, that's not gonna work. Lightning Bolt, no. Staff Blade of Selves. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, Blade of Selves is disgusting inside this deck with our commander. Blade of Selves. Switch the printing over to Final Fantasy. Colossus Hammer. No. I think that's all of them. Okay. So we're still 57 in the main deck. A ton of artifacts. How many equipments do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 equipments. A ton of instants. New players, it's also really good, or something to note, that we have a ton of, we have more instants than sorceries because we want to be playing on our opponent's turn. So that's just something I kind of want to keep in mind. How about we group this by, no, sort it by mana value. What's it looking like, our curve? Oh, that's excellent. Look at that curve. Wow. It just happens naturally, I suppose. All right, now I just think we filled the deck out with just creatures that care about non-creatures. And then I think, and obviously I think a lot of things that care about the graveyard. Like Ultimecia, I think we play. If I look at this mana curve, there are 4 permanents, there are 6. Yeah, we can play Ultimecia. If I can spell it right. So we should have 2 Ultimecias inside this deck. There's that one, and there's the other one. Okay, cool. But I really would like to find more creatures at a low mana value. Whenever artifact control enters Seville 1 at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 more artifacts, return target creature card from graveyard to... Excellent, yeah. Why not? Golbez. Wasn't there a red and black one that said Surveil? This Garland? Yeah, why not? We'll add the Garland as well. 2 mana creature gives you something nice when you cast your non-creatures, of which we will be doing many times. All right, let me just go up to red. So because we're playing a lot of equipment, maybe we look back at that Final Fantasy Limit Break deck and see if we can find an enchantment that cares about equipment. There are none. A creature that cares about equipment, maybe? That costs low mana. Facebreaker, no. Avalanche Sector 7's power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponents control. Nah. Yuffie? No. Barret? Whenever Barret whilst attacks or deals damage equals the number of equipped creatures you control. I feel like that's a bit excessive. Return scry 1 then exile top card of the library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a card this way, target creature control gets plus X plus 0 until the end of where X is that card's mana value. Yeah. What? Yeah, we play that. That sounds fun. Kate Sith. Fortune Teller. Where is it? Oh, it's mana value, so right here. At the beginning of combat in your turn, scry 1, then exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a card this way, target creature you can do with plus X plus 0 until the end of turn where X is that card's mana value. Yeah. Sounds fun. What was I just looking at? I was just looking at this. And I think that that's all the cards that I think are really relevant. Although I've seen people win games because of this card right here. But I just don't want, and it is a non-creature. I mean, it's not a non-creature. It's an enchantment creature. So that wouldn't work. So let me just check really quickly. Morbid Opportunist, no. Lock, Treasure Hunter. I think Lock can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Is that, I don't know. Milkin allows us to mill a card and add mana. But how much reanimation do we have? Oh, we could throw in a Rise of the Dark Realms. Mill 3 cards, then with each... Then starting with the next opponent in turn order, each opponent chooses a creature card in your graveyard that hasn't been chosen. Maybe we add Rejoin the Fight and Rise of the Dark Realms. Because this is a big reanimation spell and a big reanimation spell. We already have the reanimate, so Rise of... of the Dark Realms, and then the other card was called Rejoin the Fight. Okay. All right, I really don't think I can add any more non-creature spells, even though I do think those cards are game-winning cards. So let's see if we can find some creatures that are low mana value that relevant. I feel like if I can find cards like little wizards, things that maybe the cards we find are cards that put wizards in play, so that, because I know that inside this deck there are cards that say like, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, each person takes this much damage. We're definitely gonna end up going over the amount of cards that we wanted to add, but then we can just bring it down to 64. Problem is that I'm just not finding this. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token. So what if I go here and I put create a black wizard creature token. That's Circle of Power. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token. So I think we're gonna add Circle of Power. Commodore Guff. Cornered by black mages, I think we play. And then Kuja we already have in the deck. Does this do that as well? Create a 0/1. Okay, so this is gonna get added into our land. So Lind Blum, we got 1 land. Mages. Human Wizard. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 black wizard creature token. Yes. Mysidian Elder. Queen Brawn. Whenever attacks create is... Yes, dude, I'm telling you. Yes, this is working. Yay. The deck is coming together, because then I can just make cuts. And that's low mana value. It's pretty good. Transpose. Instant. Draw a card and discard a card. You lose 1 life as well as cast from your hand. Yes, so transpose is a card that we're adding. Vivi's Persistence. How come I feel like I didn't see that card there? Enters or attacks and pay 2. Oh, this is a great card. Vivi's Persistence. $57. God. I think that there was a card over here I didn't add, Cornered by Black Mages. Because technically, like, this is not a creature per se, but it puts a creature on the battlefield. So it gives us a creature, and at the same time, it where is this circle? I gotta sort by name. Did I add the Circle of Power? No, I don't think I did. Circle of Power, okay. And that's okay. So I think every card that creates 0/1 Black Mages, I'm pretty sure I just added. Although I do think that there is an equipment, like, yeah, Black Mage's Rod. Yeah, so we're gonna add that as well. Y'shtola we added. Salvagers. If at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, how many? If I look at the deck, I don't know. We're not gonna do that. Mana curve is pretty nice. Ultimecia, no. Syncopate, no. I think we're basically done with the what's the word I want to say? We're basically done with the deck. I think we're gonna have to start cutting cards very soon. Which is fun. I think that there was a card earlier that let us play cards from our graveyard, and to me, I think that card is slightly becoming more relevant. I think it's Emmet. I know I added 1 Emmet Selk, which is Unsundered. Oh, it's already in the deck. This is the card. During a turn, you may play cards from graveyard. Okay, yeah. So we got that. Wow. Okay, so I think that was the... Oh, my brain right now. Oh my God. Stretch for a second. That was just like an hour straight of intense thinking. But yeah, everybody, the deck list is going to be in the Patreon. All you need to do is become a free member, and then all of the deck lists on the channel on the Patreon you'll have access to see once it's completed. And I'm just getting into a habit of uploading all the commander decks I have to the Patreon. That way everybody can just take a look at that and see. But I think I like what we have over here. I think what I have to cut from right now is we're going to keep all the creatures the same. I don't know if we need this dragon. It's such a good card. We need that card. That just such a good card. I think we have to cut cards from sorceries first. And then keep in mind that we already have 1 land. So technically we need to cut 6 cards, because technically we're at 70. So, let's start with the sorceries, because these are the cards that are going to be the weakest, and let's sort them by mana value. Keep Night's Whisper. I don't know if we need the Night's... I mean, 2 mana to draw a card feels good on turn 2. But I do think, though, because this Circle of Power technically is 4 mana to draw 2 cards and create a creature, which I think feels great. This Siphon Mind is gonna go. Siphon Mine can go. Rise of the Dark Realms is an extremely intense GG card. I think Rejoin the Fight we're going to get rid of as well. So we'll have 8 sorceries, Rise of the Dark Realms, Circle of Power, Merciless, yeah, Toxic Deluge, Cornered by Black Mages. I feel like this card is the most like... I mean, it's removal, but just one person, and then we create a 1/1. I kind of don't like this card. I think this is gonna go. Vandal Blast can really destroy the game. Night's Whisper, I think we keep. We can use the Diabolic Intent when we sacrifice one of the little 0/1s that we create. I wonder if there is a card that as we cast our non-creature spells, we create tokens. Archmage or Emeritus, Emmett Selt of the Third Seat. I kind of like this because, oh, now I'm going back to adding more cards to the deck. Let me just think about what I was. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 0/1 blue bird creature token with flying and vigilance. Yeah, I think we play that. Hermes Overseer. If I didn't already add that, no, I didn't. So that's just more token creation. And now we're gonna have to remove another card. Big Score, Transpose, Laughing Mad, Overkill, Chaos Warp, Counterspell. That card is great. The Persistence Pull from Tomorrow. Opera's Love Song, Cyclonic Rift, Endwalker, Dark Ritual. Do we need the Boas' Citadel? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great card, but you know, I think this Elder can go. It's all right, but the Baleful Strix, I don't know if I really need. It is great on turn 2 to play Baleful Strix, but like, I'd rather get the Dark Confidant on the battlefield. I mean, it does draw us a card. Let me look at the mana curve. Yeah, I think we can get rid of the Baleful Strix. Yeah, I think there was just a card we were just looking at that helped us cast things from our graveyard. I don't know. I feel like that's like winning more. Although it is pretty good. I'll draw 2 cards. Yeah, I think we definitely keep that. All right, we're cutting. So 67 cards, so 66. So I need to cut 2 more cards. Cryptic Command, Big Score, Transpose. I like. Big Score lets us cast something. We get 2 treasures, so we kind of get our mana back after we cast. But like, Pull from Tomorrow would basically cost us our entire turn. So I think I'm gonna remove Pull from Tomorrow. And then I think we just need one more card to cut. And it's gonna be Genji Glove. I feel like is just devastating. It's a lot of mana, but it can just swing the game. I think the Ring of the Lucy is gonna go. 4 mana for, I think that card can go. Because we got the Gilded Lotus in the deck. I'd rather play Gilded Lotus other than that. Yeah, now we have 1 land. Okay. Now I need to do the mana base and then we're done. And then we got to play test and then we're done. Okay, so this is any blue black lands. So Choked Estuary. So let's X that out. Actually, I probably should have kept that page open, but whatever. Command Tower. Darkwater Catacombs. Demolition Field. Nah. Just tapped. Drowned Catacomb. Did I add that? No. I want to thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I know I've just been talking to myself for the past like 2 hours. Exotic Orchard. Fetid Heath, no. Isolated Chapel, no. Sunken Hollow and Sunken Ruins. Wait a minute. Search for Escanto Academy Ruins. 1 second. Is that a Final Fantasy card? No, it's not. Oh my god, that is looks like Tomb Raider. Sunken Ruins. Cool. Marsh, no. Underground River. Okay, and I think that's... Let's just throw in the Temple of the False God, why not? Okay, so inside this deck, we're going to be able to find the Rakdos lands, Dragon Skull Summit, here, Foreboding Ruins. No. No. Graven Cairns. High Market? No. Shadow Blood Ridge. Shadow Blood Egg. What is that? Smoldering Marsh. Sulphurous Springs. Okay. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and type in swamp. Mountain, and then island. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to find is it lands, because I don't know if there are any is it precons here. No, there are no is it lands. So then I think what I have to do is go back. We're gonna type Final Fantasy set list and go back to Scryfall. We're gonna do this by color, I suppose. Would I be able to find all the lands in one place? Enters tapped. I don't know if I want to add the cards that enter tapped. I just think we're gonna be beat for the is it lands. Starting town, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Why not? What is that? No. I think if I look at, I don't want to add those tap lands if I don't have to. Here's a cool one. You may sacrifice an artifact creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. We're gonna go Midgar, City of Mako. And then the blue one, target opponent mills half their library rounded down. That's just mean. I'm not even gonna add that because that's just rude. And then I think we just fill the rest of the deck with basic lands. And then I think we call it, because I'm not sure if I see another land over here that Eden, Seat of the Sanctum, pay 5 mana. I feel like that's such a, I would never want to pay 5 mana to return a permanent from graveyard to my hand. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if I look at this, that is 21, basically, or 18 multicolored lands. So then if I group this by color, we have 10 red, 15 black. So the mountains are going to be the least that we need. If we need 15 more lands. Let me see. If we need 15 lands, the majority of them have to be swamps. So we're thinking like, if I go 6 swamps plus 5 islands and then 4 mountains. Wait, no. 6 swamps plus 5 islands. 11 plus 4 equal 15. So 6, 5, and 4. So that'll be 4 mountains, 5 islands, and then 6 swamps. 97. Oh no, we needed more land. So then if I go, I'll just bump each one up by 1. So 6, 5, then 7 swamps, 100 cards. Okay. All right. 24 creatures. We may end up removing some of these artifacts to add more creatures. But we're gonna see how we're gonna play test the deck right now to see how it works. Okay, so like I said, when this is finished, the deck list will be in the description or inside the Patreon. I'm gonna really shrink myself over. How about I do this? 1 second, guys. Let me make this look more official, and then let me just flip this horizontally so that it looks that way. So the only thing I'm blocking really is the commander, like that, just so we can see all the cards in the hand. Okay, so looking at our opening hand that we first ever see, you know, the first thing I see is this Ballistic Citadel, whatever. Venser is a creature. Diabolic Intent, we can tutor. Chromatic Lantern. Let's go ahead and, like, if we were to draw, okay, a mountain. I think we get this into play tapped and then we pass a turn. We have both of the boots on the battlefield. I think I would go here and get Lightning Greaves in play and then pass. We have a counter spell in our hand, but no blue mana. We can go like this and get Chromatic Lantern. So now we have our blue mana. We could pass. Do I have another land? Unfortunately, I don't. Because if this was a land right now, that would be good. I think what I would personally do here is just pass the turn with the intention to cast Venser on my opponent's turn to counter something, basically. Just counter anything. And then I would get this on the battlefield for 4 and then pass into another tap land. Tap lands feel bad. Technically, last turn, I could have got Emmett Selch on the battlefield, which would have had me draw a card and then discard a card. I would discard. I think Bolster Citadel is going to go. I feel like I don't want to win through that card. And I'll find another card that works better. I could equip Lightning Greaves to this to have him attack right away. He'll attack. We'll draw another card. Nice. And then discard a card. I'll just discard the counter spell because Venser kind of acts like a counter spell. We play a land for turn, and then we will pass into a Wayfarer's Bauble. I think here immediately we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We get our commander into play, force everyone to discard. Let's imagine we draw 2 cards. And then I equip Lightning Greaves to Kefka, so he attacks. Everybody has to discard a card. I attack with both creatures, we'll say. Oh, this is Vigilance. So I'm gonna, let's say we draw another 2 cards from Kefka. We draw a card from Emmett Selch. We go to discard. I'm gonna choose to discard this, whatever, this land over here because it enters tapped. I can play, technically, I could play the swamp in the graveyard. Put this anyway because this is gonna enter. Well, it doesn't. I'll put this in the graveyard. We'll play that. And then I can tap that to play Wayfarer's Bauble. I mean, this is if there are 14 or more cards in my graveyard. We have 3. 7 cards in hand. We could pass. We draw into a Toxic Deluge, which is devastating. We have our commander protected. You know, we could just hold up mana to do the whole thing with Venser to do something. I could tutor. Technically, like, we could I could, on the turn when I had the discard, I could have kept this in my hand. I could have discarded the dragon, and then I could have cast this to sack a creature, to then search my library for a reanimate. I don't know if this would have even mattered, because I could have just cast him outright anyway, and then reanimate the dragon onto the battlefield. But we'll start over from the beginning. That wasn't the worst thing, but let me go ahead and remove. I feel like Bulls of Citadel is a bit much. And then we can find another creature to add. Where is it? Kefka's Tower. And then I can find I feel like I already know which creature I want to add. I think he's red. This one. Equipped creatures you control have haste. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token with a copy of it. Actually, I don't know if I want to add that. And it is 3 mana. The equipment that I have kind of already give my creatures haste, but like, I don't know. I feel like we don't play that. I feel like that card's not that good. But I definitely want to add a creature. But which one is it going to be? Is it going to be from here or one of the precons? We could add Sephiroth, but we just don't have creatures to. I mean, yeah, we will. If we cast and create tokens, we could combo that with Sephiroth. Let's just add Sephiroth. Why not? Yeah, that works for me. All right, let's go back. I feel like Sephiroth, Bolas' Citadel, you know, it's probably with what we're trying to do inside this deck. I feel like this works a lot better. Playtest. All right, so we're looking at our hand over here. Let's just assume we play this. We draw to the primordial. We get down to swamp, we pass. We play this mountain. It says we exile the top 2 cards of our library. So I think we pass here and then cast the love song, exiling 1, 2. And then we go to our turn. We play the swamp, I mean. And then I think we just got to get this Swiftfoot Boots on the battlefield for 2 and then pass. Yeah, we draw a Soul Ring. It would be good if it's crazy that I've added so many maybe let me go back. Because if I look at the precons, Evolving Wilds, and then is there a Terramorphic Expanse? They all have Evolving Wilds with no Terramorphic Expanse. No. Whatever. We're gonna add the Evolving Wilds. Let's remove a swamp. Okay. Looking at our hand. All right, this looks a bit more manageable. So we can go draw for turn, Queen Brawn tracks. Yeah. So we're gonna go Island, pass, draw to Emmett Selch. Okay, so Swamp, Arcane Signet, pass into the Blade of Selves, which is amazing. And then I don't know, I have 36 lands in my deck. I feel like I'm not drawing into, missing out on my lands a lot. We could Dark Ritual here. We can go black, Dark Ritual for 3 extra mana. Use 2 of it to get the Talisman of Dominance into play. And then just so that we get an extra mana this turn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I still have 4 mana. So then I could, how much mana is this? Blade of Selves. I could big score for 4. We're gonna create 2 treasure tokens. So we're gonna add a counter to that. So 1, 2 treasure tokens. This will go to the graveyard. This will go to the graveyard. We have to discard. I'm gonna discard. Oof. Which one do we discard? This gives us card draw, but our commander's gonna cause us to draw cards anyway. This is a 2/1. Yeah, maybe Queen Brawn can go. And then we'll draw, I think, 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay, so everything should be tapped. We have 2 mana left over. I can sacrifice both of the treasures to get the Blade of Selves on the battlefield that turn. And then I think I could have played a land as well. And then during this turn, we'll play a land. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got our commander on the battlefield. Let's say we draw 2. And then we could use the 1 mana left over to brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. Starting town. Offer you can't refuse. Okay. You know, I'm not really feeling like the deck is competitive per se. Because I feel like I'm not really interacting a lot with my opponents. I mean, we're doing this imaginary, right? So it's not like it's gonna be super, you know, it's not like I'm really gonna be interacting so much. But this hand seems all right. We could go 1, 2, get the Black Mage's Rod, creating a hero. Have that be equipped. Then we go to our next turn. We could play this, revealing a mountain. And then we can tap. I think right here, what I would like to do is get Sephiroth on the battlefield. Enters. We're gonna sack the token, and then we're gonna draw a card. And then we can pass. Ooh. If I hadn't done that, I could have tutored next turn. I can get a land on the battlefield. Equip how much? Equip 3. You can get a land on the battlefield. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not gonna work. I mean, I could ramp 2 into this ever-flowing chalice. And then this is the reason why I didn't really like Sephiroth, because there's not going to be so many creatures to sack. Go to our next turn, an offer we can't refuse. We do have this temple, the false god in play, so that these both tap for 2 each. So this is 4 mana right here. So imagining we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we'll leave this open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kefka. Let's say we draw 2 from the discard. Kate Sith, Swamp. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So we could potentially let's say we just pass here. And then we could counter a spell. If they try to destroy Kefka, that'll go into our graveyard. We'll go to our next turn, Underground River. We'll play this land, and right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, which means I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We can get the Genji glove in play, and then I can go 1, 2, 3. I can equip Kefka to the Genji glove, which says double strike whenever equipped creature attacks. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap it. There's additional combat phase. So we would get to attack with Kefka, and then which is going to trigger the discard. So let's say we draw 2. And then we get to untap and then attack again, which let's say we draw 1, 2, which would be devastating. And then let's say we have 9 cards in hand. Let's discard this land and then this land, whatever. Say we go to our next turn. We could then play, oh my God. We could play Clive and then equip for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, play a land for turn, equip the Blade of Selves to Kefka, which means that we can go to combat. We can attack with Kefka to force everyone to discard, and then Myriad's gonna trigger, so they're gonna have to discard a card, and then we're gonna draw. But this is probably only gonna happen one time because they're not gonna have any cards left in hand, because Blade of Selves is also gonna trigger. So we're gonna create a tapped and attacking version of Kefka for each opponent, which say that we have 3 opponents. So we're gonna get 3 Kefkas, which is 3 more triggers of discard. And then we have to go to, they're all going to get sacrifices because of the legendary rule. This will then untap. And then we get to go to another combat because of the Genji glove. This is going to attack again. We're going to get another trigger from the attack. And then 3 more copies of Kefka, which is just basically going to they're not going to have a hand. And then now they're top decking. We discard. And now we can basically do whatever we want. I mean, here, I can cast this to tutor for a card side of the deck, sacrificing Sephiroth. We could literally just here, you know, I'm just coming up with anything random. We could Cyclonic Rift to force them to discard, just to bounce everything back to their hand, and then on that overload, and then we can then attack with Kefka again, and then force them on top of that to discard everything that just got put back into their hand. Oh my God, that's devastating. Wow. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, hey, and then not only that, we could use Stola to cause us to have this re-enter, to leave and then re-enter, although I'm not sure if we want to do that when we have both his equipment attached. And then Shiva we can cast. So I kind of like this whole thing where we're bouncing things to our opponent's hand. I think the one thing that the deck is really missing is just early game, put that back into your hand type cards. I really want to be able to just like force cards back into my opponent's hands early. But it just looks like there just isn't a lot. I mean, the Bedevil wouldn't be that bad. Crackling Doom we can't play. But for 3 mana, I want it to be like 2 mana. Oh, dude, I didn't see that you said you won your first match. Congratulations, man. That's fun. Magic is great, man. Magic is so much fun. But I just don't know if there's cards that do what I want. I want to be able to bounce things back to people's hands, but I mean, those cards exist outside of the Magic the Gathering world. I suppose they just didn't print them in this. Like a 1 mana card that just like 2 mana maybe just bounce something back to your opponent's hand would be cool. But I think we're only allowed to use Final Fantasy cards. So it's just the reality of the situation here, unfortunately. I think they're not going to be in these colors. They're not. Maybe here. Reanimate, no. Bedevil again. Let me check the set one last time. Let me go over the blue cards. Usually there's cards that just... I mean, we do have oh, right here, Ice Magic. Yeah, so let's add Ice Magic to the deck. And then what's a card that we can get rid of? Diabolic Intent kind of feels bad. Night's Whisper we could use to draw early. I think the Circle of Power. Can go, although that Black Mage's Rod also felt kind of pointless. So we'll get rid of that. Oh man, this is making my brain think. Okay, so we added 1 card that bounces something to its hand. Surveil 1, then draw a card. What is this? Equipped creature is a wizard in addition to its other types. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Nah. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, draw a card. That's too... I like it being 1 mana. Is there another card that lets us bounce? No. Keystis, maybe? No. Uniform? No. I feel like this Ultimecia right here can go. 6 mana. I feel like that card's gonna go. Where is she? Ultimecia, where you at? Yeah, you can leave. Remove. And then... now we got... I would rather just play the Black Mage's Rod, actually. So we're just gonna add that card back into the deck. Circle of Power. I think I took that card out. Evil Reawakened lets us Cast a card. I want like a 2-mana something that does something. 3 mana, no. Poison, what? Target player reveals their hand. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I mean, technically, I could take out the Knight's Whisper. But is this an instant? That's the question. And that Knight's Whisper draws me 2 cards for 2 mana. This only gives me 1. My brain. Let's see. No, we're not gonna have a ton of creatures to sacrifice. I want an early game way to just destroy something. Wow, that seems cool. Freya, no. Gilgamesh, no. 6 mana. 2 mana. Dude, what if I just do this? Yeah, get this to sort by mana value. So we need red, blue, or black. Elixir? Nah. Excalibur? Nope. Freya, no. We got that one already. Lunatic Pandora? No. Magic Damper? No. Sleep Magic? This says, when this aura enters tap enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller untap step. When enchanted creature is dealt damage, sacrifice this aura. So if it's tapped, how would it ever be sacrificed? You know what I mean? I kind of like it, but then again, you know, I'd rather be able to get it back into their hand so that I can then force them to discard it. Dreams of Laguna. Surveil 1, then draw a card. Golbez. I think we have that already. Monk's Fist. No. Poison the Waters. No. UFO. Deals combat damage. No. I don't want to sack anything. I think we might take out Sephiroth after Sephiroth just kind of sitting there for a couple turns. Just because I feel like Sephiroth is not... It doesn't really synergize super well with everything that we're doing. And now we're at 3 mana. See, I'd rather play cornered by black mages than play Sephiroth. As crazy as that sounds, I can sack a creature and then create a creature. So if somebody plays their commander on turn 2, I go turn 3 and I'm like, sack your commander and then give me a 0/1. And then that starts pinging people afterwards. And then it just flows to the deck. So I think we're gonna do that actually. Because I don't really want to sacrifice those cards. What? Cornered by black mages. And then I think inside one of the precons there was a card that lets me be unblockable, which is Trailblazer's Boots. Is there Sword of the Animist? Trailblazer's Boots, I think we add because it just gives our creatures unblockable. That's good. We can attack without having to worry about anything with our commander. Buster Sword. I feel like it's just such a good card. You never like don't play that. Myriad's disgusting. Let's get rid of this cryptic command. It's 4 mana. I don't want to be doing that at 4 mana. Although it's such a good card, but whatever. Let's just see how this plays. Playtest. Okay, so 3 colors. Tutor, we got the boots, we got draw. Not horrible, but we'll draw for turn. We'll play this. We'll go to our next turn. We can ramp here. Tap 2. We get the talisman in play next turn. Here I can go 1, 2, 3. We'll get a death touch creature that tutors onto the battlefield. And then we can go to the next turn. We'll get the other island on the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can get our commander on the battlefield. I just feel like Kefka is just such a card where it's like the game is completely changed now. You know? I feel like I want to hold up on the Kefka though. And let's get the 1, 2, 3, 4. We're always 1 mana short to cast this ice magic, which kind of feels bad. But we also can attack and tutor right now. And then we'll have 3 left over. Awkward amounts of mana right now. I feel like Kefka is the best play. Because you play Kefka, we basically draw 2 cards, force our opponents to remove 2 cards. And then let's say we're definitely not going to have enough mana to attack, so I think we just hold off on that. We go to our next turn. Get another land on the... Well, no. We play the Temple, the False God. Now we ramp an extra mana. I can pay 2, the boots, to give Sephiroth to give Kefka unblockable. We go 1, 2, we equip the boots to Kefka. And then we go attack with Kefka unblockable, forcing everyone to discard again. Give me 2 cards. Ooh, Go-Go was disgusting here. We have 3 mana left over. You have 8 cards in hand. We played a land. I'm gonna put this island into the graveyard as we pass, and now it's getting there. Because we pass, look. We pass, And now I have the ability to bounce something to my opponent's hand, and I can overkill to destroy a creature, and I can Laughing Mad, instant spell, which means that whatever somebody tries to do, let's say somebody tries to play something to destroy something or plays a creature that I don't want, let's just choose to, how about, let's make the most out of our mana. Let's say nobody does anything and we just want to draw cards. I play Laughing Mad for the 3 mana that I have open on my opponent's end step. I have to discard a card. I'm going to discard this mountain, and then we're going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. And then we will untap and draw for turn into the starting town, which is now turn 6. So this will enter untapped, and we can pay 1 life to cast something. We still have unblockable Kefka, by the way, which feels great. And now we're starting to slowly drain our opponents. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I think this one would have to be over here. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can get Black Waltz number 3 on the battlefield. And I think we just hold up the other mana. We don't have a counterspell here, so let's just say we attack. We draw 2 from the thing, from Kefka. We get more cards, which feels great. So now whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we're going to deal damage. And now, as we pass the turn, discarding the Evolving Wilds, we can now cast a spell on my opponent's end step and then deal 2 damage to each opponent. But let's just say somebody goes to wipe the board, and we don't have a counterspell here, so we can't stop it. So let's say this goes to the command zone. Everybody at this point is pretty much top decking. This will go into a graveyard. This will go into a graveyard. And then we'll draw for turn to an underground river. Let's get this command tower on the battlefield. Can't really... It just feels horrible, because then look, I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get Kefka back on the battlefield, force everyone to discard again, and then pass with 2 open mana, which means that when they wipe the board, they're going to play a creature. I Ice Magic, force it back to their hand, and then, you know, or they can put it back in the command zone if it was their commander. We draw again, play a land. I can use the temple to get the Thought Vessel on the battlefield. So now I have no maximum hand size. I'm a creature. If you do go and that creature each get and gain haste. So I can go right here, and then I can go to combat. I can attack with Kefka to get another. I can give Kefka, first of all, unblockable by paying 2 mana. And then I can have Go-Go become a copy of Kefka, right? And I mean, why don't we just go all out? Why don't we just play Gix as well? 1, 2, 3, taking the damage. And then I can go 1, 2, 3, playing Overkill to remove a blocker. And then this says damage to a player. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, to control them, pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. So I can go to combat, turn this into a copy of Kefka, basically, only it still has the same name, Go-Go. I can attack and attack, force them to discard. Let's say I draw 2, being modest. Each deal damage to a different player, which is going to cause me to lose 2 life, and then I'll draw 2 more cards. You know, and then, and now they have no cards left in their hand. And then I already played a land for turn. I would just pass. Ristic Study. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll play the Ristic Study. So now they have to pay 1, and they're already top decking. I can just get the Circle of Power on the battlefield to draw 2 cards, and now we create a little wizard again. So now we're dealing damage as we're casting these spells. And I feel like everybody's kind of seeing the flow of the deck. I would like a bit more looking at what we just went through. I would not mind getting one of these creatures from our graveyard back to our hand. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of getting, look, if I'm at the point where I have to cast the Rise of the Dark Realms to, I should have already, if I'm winning the game through Rise of the Dark Realms, I should already, everybody should be in top deck mode, and this should be like a win more card. I would already be on the track to winning, if that makes sense. So technically with the way this deck plays, so I feel like we remove Rise of the Dark Realms. Inside the precons, there's no Blasphemous Act in the precons. Vanquish, Dispatch, no. There's really no Blasphemous Act. No good board wipes. Just to make sure. No. But I think we play Stitch Together instead of, we get one card for 2 mana instead of spending 9 mana to win more than we were already winning. You know what I mean? So I think we play Stitch Together. Gives us something to, reduces the mana value. Now we don't have a thing at 9 mana over here. And then Sepulchre Primordial. This card can basically act like the Rise of the Dark Realms, and it's a creature. There's no more reanimating cards. Big score we already added. Playtest again. We got to make sure we get this right. Just keep in mind, the only reason this video exists is because somebody asked me to make this deck in the Discord. So if you would like for me to make a custom deck for you or upgrade a commander deck you own, you can join a tier on the Patreon in accordance with what you would like done. And then I will then get up on live stream and do that for you. We're gonna, I think we just tap these two to get the land on the battlefield. Let's find a swamp, close that and shuffle, take our next turn. I think unfortunately here, I would rather get this creature on the battlefield. This is gonna enter, we'll draw. This is way too much mana, so we're just gonna discard what we draw. And then I think I have to play the temple because that was my land. And then we'll pass. This still doesn't tap for mana, which doesn't feel good. We'll attack with this creature, draw, nice. And then discard this, ooh, good problems. This is good. Black Waltz, I kind of want to keep. Oh man, what do we get rid of here? Wow, like seriously. Laughing Mad because we can cash this from my graveyard anyway. I still have all my mana. I'll play this. This has for 2 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could get Kefka in the game, just start ruining everybody's lives. But let's act like, let's do a playtest where we don't play through Kefka. Let's say we go we go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We get the Black Waltz on the battlefield. So as we cast non-creature spells, we're gonna do 2 damage to each opponent. We'll pass, and then during our opponent's end step with the 2 mana that we have available, we can Ice Magic to return a creature to our opponent's hand, which is going to deal 2 damage to each opponent from the Black Waltz. And then we go to our next turn, we play a land, and then we can first attack attack Vigilant. We'll draw and then discard Ultimecia. Oof, do we want to get Ultimecia on the battlefield? Not really. I mean, we could. I don't even think we do that. Let's put this here. Technically, we could get the Buster Sword on the battlefield. That's a good card. So 1, 2, 3. Buster Sword. 1, 2. And now I can attach that to the Black Waltz. So that we have a flying Death Touch 5/4. Go to combat now. Attack with the Black Waltz, drawing into Ultimecia. And then Buster Sword says deals combat damage to player, draw a card. So we have to draw another card. And then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the amount of damage without paying its mana cost. So that was 5 damage because this is +3 +2. Yep. So now we can play a card for 5 mana for free, which could be Ultimecia, but technically this wouldn't have triggered because this one would trigger first, so Emmett Selch wouldn't have triggered anyway, so we'd really only have 1 card in hand. So I think in this instance, off of, it says deals damage, we draw a card. No, so then, yeah, this would trigger first because this is on attack. So then we would discard Ultimecia, this would trigger, we draw, and now we'd cast a spell for free, which I would play Transpose, which we're gonna draw a card, then discard a card. We'll discard the Swamp. Cast from our hand, we're gonna create a 0/1, so add token, hero. Dealing 2 damage to each opponent with the Black Waltz guy over here. This is gonna have rebound. So this is gonna get cast again. And then we're gonna go ahead and, is this a hero token that we're creating? I think we have to create a wizard. Yeah. And then we would draw for turn. This is gonna trigger again. We're gonna draw a card and discard a card, discarding this island. And then because it was not cast from our hand, it will not do anything, but this is gonna deal 2 damage to each opponent. This will deal 1 damage, so 3 damage to each opponent. And then from this instance, I think I would want more cards in my hand. We can play a land for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kefka, draw 2 potentially. Man, we could go. How much mana? 1, 2, 3 I have left over. Go to combat, drawing. Ooh, reanimate. Oh, we're definitely gonna put the dragon in the graveyard off of the discard from Emmett Selch as we attack. We draw into the reanimate, and then we attack. We'll draw off of dealing damage. We dealt 5. Does it say equal to or less than? Less than or equal to. So we'll use the 5 mana to get the Genji Glove on the battlefield. And then we'll pay black to cast reanimate, dealing 1, 2, 3 damage to each opponent to put the dragon, oh my god, on the battlefield. And then we would pass. Oh man, this is getting insane, because now we can go swamp, pay 1, 2, 3, equip Genji Glove to Kefka, which is going to give us another combat, which I would definitely equip to Kefka just so that we can deal the damage. Or we can do this with the Ancient Copper Dragon to get a ton of tokens or treasure tokens on the battlefield. But we could do that at some point. I do Kefka now because we can draw cards. Yeah, guys. I think the deck is good. I think considering the restrictions that we have, I think it's in a place right now where, and you guys let me know what you think, but when we look at the mana curve of the deck, you know, and considering how it's playing, like, in other words, when the deck starts popping off, it's like game winning popping off. It's devastating, I think. The combos and the way things can synergize, I like it. This Golbez, when an artifact we control enters, we got a ton of artifacts in the deck. I kind of like that card. Yeah, I think it's completed. I think it's done. I think we got something. Let me just make sure for Candy, the patron, the Patreon member, that everything, because everything's supposed to be Final Fantasy. Let me just make sure everything is in the Final Fantasy art. And then I think we are good to go. Big Score is not, so switch printing to Final Fantasy. Transpose, Overkill, Laughing Mad, Chaos Warp. That is not Final Fantasy. Counterspell, Vivi's Persistence, Opera Love Song, Ice Magic, Hopes Magic, Brainstorm. Maybe the Opera Love Song can actually go. Because we could swap this. Yeah, I feel like the Exile we don't want. Man, we're still making changes over here. Because I could technically, at 2 mana, just so that I don't have to lose out on those cards potentially, we can play Dreams of Laguna and get 2 casts instead. Yeah, I like that better. And it's, yeah, I like that better. Okay. Stitch together is not correct. Switch printing. Oh, it is. Okay. Vandal Blast. Final Fantasy. Reanimate. Needs to be Final Fantasy. Oh, 1 second, guys. Yeah, my dog was just tripping real loud. But yeah, back to this. Let me just make sure everything is Final Fantasy oriented, and then we are good. Was that Squidward? Knight's Whisper, Everflowing Chalice is not Final Fantasy. Soul Ring is not Final Fantasy. Can I type in Final Fantasy here? This one looks cool. Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble is not Final Fantasy. Arcane Signet. Lightning Greaves. Mind Stone. Swiftfoot Boots. That's definitely Final Fantasy. Thought Vessel. Trailblazer's Boots is good. That's good. This needs to change. Genji Glove, Gilded Lotus is good. And then Ristic Study. And then lands. Final Fantasy, Command Tower. Okay. Raven Carnes already. Oh, well, you can do what you want with the islands. I'm just gonna, just because you're paying me to make sure everything is Final Fantasy, I mean, I could just find a cheaper land. We'll find this one. I don't know if I recognize any of these moments. This one looks cool. Shadow Blood Ridge needs to be. Marsh needs to switch. This needs to switch. I wish there was like a way for it to just know that Final Fantasy is what I wanted. It's a bit much. This one looks cool. Temple of the False God. Underground River. And I think we are officially done. Everything inside this deck is Final Fantasy-fied. Yep, all of those Final Fantasy, just making sure. Yes. Yes, yes. And then this, cool, big score. Yep. that again. Yep. Excellent. Reanimate, good. Yep. Deluge, Kefka, cool. Dark Confidant. What is that? Okay. Okay. All right, dude. That's it. So like I said, the deck list is gonna be in the Patreon. So if you click on the Patreon, the deck list will be over there if you guys want to build this. I'll do more stuff for this in the future, but all the deck lists for the channel are gonna exist on the Patreon. It's totally free to become a member of the Patreon. Once you're a member, you'll have access to see the posts, and then you just click on the posts where you see this video, and the deck list link will be over there. Okay. I had a lot of fun making this deck. I think this is going to be, it's about as good as I think it possibly can be. And if you are watching this and you would like for me to build a deck for you and you want to come up with some random stipulation like what we had over here, you let me know and I can come on live stream and build a deck for you. Okay. I'm gonna head out, everybody. Always remember, eat healthy. All right. Work out every single day. Most of where you guys can remember to believe in yourself. All right. Peace out, people.